Modern Guitar School is online. A warm welcome to the second part of the world's best intro solos. Today we'll be looking at more punchy solos that you can recognize from the very first note, or at least by the second. I've brought 5 of them with me, recreated the sounds, re-recorded everything, made backing tracks, and created tablatures that I'll show you so you can follow along exactly what is being played. Alright, let's start with lick number 5. So that was Chris Rea with the song On the Beach. The song was released in 1986 and it was already his 8th studio album. And with it, he reached number 2 on the charts in Germany. All right, let's continue with number 4, And My Telltale Guitar. For the Love of God, Steve Vai, released in 1990, an unbelievable track. Steve once said in an interview that he fasted for 3 months, didn't play a single note on the guitar, then went into the studio and recorded the song in one go. Improvised, of course. Of course, a lot gets said in interviews like that. There's one thing I have to add, because unfortunately it's never mentioned online when it comes to this track or Steve Vai in general. Steve Vai very often uses a special vibrato, the so-called cycle vibrato. I'll quickly show you that again so you can get the exact sound of his vibrato in this track. Basically, you draw a circle with your vibrato finger. And this vibrato sounds completely different from the usual conventional rock vibrato. Here's a comparison. The cycle vibrato. You should pay attention in the video to how I move my finger in circles on the long notes to create this type of vibrato. In the selection of the 100 greatest guitar solos in the world, the magazine Guitar World ranked the track For the Love of God. Ranked at number 29. In 2007, the whole thing was performed again with the Metropole Orchestra and Steve Vai on guitar in the Netherlands. He even received a Grammy for it. The younger ones among you probably know the song from the video game Guitar Hero. It was once the theme music there. All right, and let's continue with number 3. That was Santana with the track Europa, released in 1976. And the chord progression is a typical cycle of fifths cadence. You can also find it in Autumn Leaves or in Still Got the Blues. Santana didn't invent it. It's a pretty well-known chord progression, and I'll introduce it soon in one of the upcoming workshops. So now comes number 2. This guitar here is played by one of his students. Steve Vai was taught by him, and I'm sure you already know who I'm talking about. That was Cryin', released in 1992 on the album The Extremist. This album reached number 24 on the Billboard rock charts in the USA. And as already mentioned, Joe Satriani was Steve Vai's guitar teacher, taught Kirk Hammett, who then joined Metallica and taught Tom Morello from Rage Against the Machine, and many, many others. All right, then I'd say it's time for number one, the mother of all guitar intros. Chuck Berry with Johnny B. Good, absolutely incredible. If you like this style, check out my workshop, The 10 Best Rock Licks. I use quite a bit of his stuff in there. The song was released in 1958 and years later played a major role in the movie Back to the Future. But the absolute highlight is, this is something I discovered while researching these songs, that a copy of the song was included on a data carrier aboard the Voyager 1 and Voyager 2 space probes, so that, in the event of contact with an alien species that might one day find these probes as they travel ever further into space, the aliens would be informed about the existence of human life. And that with the track by Chuck Berry, it doesn't get any better than that. So, dear friends, that was the second part of the rock intro, Guitar Workshops. I hope you had fun. I enjoyed it and you can benefit from it. Maybe you'll pick up one thing or another from it. If you liked it, leave me a like or a subscription. I would really appreciate it, and it would keep me motivated to keep making videos. All right? So thank you very much, and I'll see you next week.